Sakai is a hopeless loser who doesn't believe in love because he can't bag a girlfriend. However, everything changes when his two childhood friends fall in love with him and start competing for the honor of clapping him. The story begins with Sakai living out his greatest fantasy in a dream, happily dating his childhood friends because that is the only universe where he is not a certified loser. In this dream world, he is the protagonist of a sweet, bubbly rom-com where everything goes his way and embarrassment simply does not exist. Unfortunately for him, reality crashes the party harder than Truckhuan on a bad day, when he is pulled out of his dream by an icy breeze brushing his face, courtesy of a window left wide open by one of his childhood friends, Shio. Instantly awake and already irritated, Sakai starts scolding her for sneaking into his room. He is fully committed to the lecture until Shio casually stretches out from under the duvet, as if she owns the place. The sudden sight fries his brain completely, causing his thoughts to scatter in every direction at once. Before he can recover, Shio pulls him close, and the pressure alone makes Sakai forget how breathing works. But he forces himself back to reality by forcibly pinching Shio's mouth to wake her up. His mind immediately jumps to a soapy K-drama scenario, complete with dramatic music and slow motion. Shio rubs her eyes and immediately starts cursing like Sakai personally ruined her life until she realizes she is in his room. She blames him for not locking the window, which apparently was an open invitation for her ninja skills. Sakai tries to defend himself, pointing out that she broke in like a thief, which earns him zero sympathy. After a stern scolding, he tells her to leave, and she obeys without hesitation. But of course, she wants to go through the window because front doors are for ordinary mortals. Midway through her exit, her clothing budget maxes out, and Sakai's brain freezes like a glitching video game. He finally recovers and points it out, leaving her flustered, while he turns away, thinking about how absurd it is that they have lived next to each other since birth without dying from embarrassment. Later on, his thoughts keep returning to the wardrobe incident, and as he sets out for school, he bumps into Shio, who grabs his hand and rubs it against her orange farm. He tries to push her away, but she holds on harder, forcing his spirit into early retirement. She ignores his panic like he is a useless piece of wood, leaving Sakai completely mortified and questioning every choice that brought him to this moment. On their way to school, Shio refuses to let go, gripping Sakai like a python on steroids and making him question every life choice that led to this moment. He wonders how horrified she would be if she ever discovered the absolutely chaotic thoughts he has about her and decides that secret is going straight to the grave. Meanwhile, Shio is spiraling too, frustrated that all her aggressive orange wiggling and careful teasing has barely made a dent in his composure. She swears silently to make him fall for her, even if it takes the end of the universe. Suddenly, she trips spectacularly and drags Sakai down with her, pressing his face directly into her orange farm. It's clearly part of a devious plan she learned from reading way too many how to seduce your childhood friend manuals. She pretends to be shocked, scolding him, but is secretly thrilled that her trap worked. Sakai, completely unbothered, brushes her off like she is a piece of trash and tells her to keep moving. Shio, now desperate, reveals her cute girl ammunition, claiming a sprained ankle. Sakai simply pulls out a first aid kit, explaining he has carried it since childhood thanks to her reckless window climbing, making Shio flustered a few minutes into their walk. Sakai and Shio suddenly slam the brakes at an intersection, realizing that holding hands in public might cause instant social death. After an intense internal struggle that feels way more dramatic than necessary, they decide to keep going anyway. That confidence lasts exactly 5 seconds, because the moment Shio upgrades the hand-holding to finger-locking, Sakai nearly malfunctions mid-step. Just as things start drifting into rom-com territory, reality throws another obstacle with a loud thud behind them. They turn around and discover Akari, their childhood friend, staring like she just unlocked a forbidden zone. They panic and start firing excuses simultaneously. Akari laughs it off and tries to find her phone, suspiciously shaking the entire time. Sakai tries to explain, but Akari snaps at him, and as she storms off, Sakai accidentally commits yet another unforgivable mistake, earning him a bag straight to the face. After Shio explains the situation and Sakai concurs, Akari cools down and leaves them with a warning. However, Sakai and Shio misunderstand each other due to their similar excuses. Deep down, Shio thinks she was the only one overreacting about the hand-holding, but unknown to her, Sakai is also thinking the same. Meanwhile, when she is alone, Akari collapses, still trembling from her interaction with Shio and Sakai. Apparently, she also has hidden feelings for Sakai, and she panicked when she saw him holding hands with Shio. She wants to make a move before Shio pulls one over on her, but Akari wonders why she is always mean when she sees Sakai. She recalls Sakai's hands on her orange farm, making her wonder if he prefers larger oranges like Shio's. The thought makes her angry, and she vows to convince him that hers are better. Elsewhere, Shio also vows to make Sakai lose control over her, while Sakai vows to take his creepy thoughts to the grave. Later that day, Sakai and Akari are seen in class fighting over juice, drinking the same juice. Though they have been friends since childhood, they never see eye to eye on anything. Shio soon enters the class to stop them from bickering, but they ignore her until someone calls Shio away for class rep duties. Despite warning them to play nice, they continue to bicker the moment Shio leaves the classroom. When they were young, Akari used to follow Sakai around, and they were very close to each other. While watching Akari by the window, Sakai wonders why they have drifted apart, and it makes him want to fix things between them, but when she turns around, they continue bickering, making Sakai change his mind about fixing things. Deep down, Akari also beats herself up for acting like a moron around him. Akari has always gone out of her way to get Sakai's attention, glamming up, working hard to get into his school, and even buying the same juice as him just to start a conversation. Yet she can't resist snapping at him for no reason. As they prepare to drink their juices at the same time, their usual bickering kicks in. Sakai suddenly realizes they had switched drinks earlier, but before he can stop her, Akari takes a sip. Horrified at this indirect kiss, her soul practically leaves her body. Sakai tries to calm her down, but Akari turns the situation into an excuse to tease him, leaving him utterly embarrassed. She drags things further by calling him a virgin and enjoys his misery while struggling to maintain a calm face deep down. Before long, they both start cursing at each other and arguing about who has more experience in that area. Sakai then claims he can lock lips with his eyes closed, prompting Akari to dare him to show her. She claims it is only a dare, but deep down, Akari is trembling like a fish out of water while pretending to be headstrong. Moments later, they both head to a private place under the stairs to carry out the dare, but Sakai can't seem to muster the courage. Akari continues to tease him while also trembling, but when he asks her about it, she claims that she is preparing for a royal rumble, leaving him shocked. He then asks if she has done it before, but Akari brushes off his question by calling him a wuss for wasting so much time. Seeing that she seems to be serious about the kiss, Sakai finally confesses that he has never locked lips with anyone before. Akari is thrilled by the news and tries to claim Sakai's first time for herself, moving things toward what could have been his ultimate rom-com fantasy. Suddenly, Shio interrupts, leaving Sakai panicking, fearing a messy Love Island-style drama. But instead of escalating things, Shio calmly pulls a loose thread of hair from his face, acting completely oblivious. Akari attempts to quietly back away, only to trip on a stick, exposing her cute SpongeBob underwear. Shio quickly covers Sakai's eyes, but he bursts out laughing at Akari, leaving her mortified. Infuriated, Akari lunges at him, punching him while scolding him for being a creep. Meanwhile, Shio is internally spiraling over what she saw earlier, realizing she needs to be careful so Akari doesn't steal her thunder. Sakai's friends pester him about how he managed to get close to the two cutest girls in class. Frustrated, he blurts out that he can't see them as women, just as Shio walks in and hears everything. Flustered but pretending nothing happened, Shio jumps onto him, claiming they will always be childhood friends. Sakai struggles to push her off, but she refuses, even taking his workbook before he scolds her for causing rumors. Ignoring his protests, Shio sits on his lap to do her homework, rocking her hips and drawing the class's attention. His friends warn Shio against someone unstable like Sakai, but she explains their long history and keeps teasing him, having discovered his weak spot. The situation escalates when Akari arrives, accusing Sakai of taking advantage of Shio. She tries to intervene, but Shio insists on finishing her homework that way. Akari eventually joins in, turning it into a playful shimmy contest, each girl trying to outdo the other and sending Sakai to comedic heights of embarrassment. The following day, Sakai boards a bus, still drowning in thoughts about his painfully confusing situationship with his childhood friends. As fate would have it, he suddenly bumps into a beautiful girl, and to his absolute shock, it turns out to be Shio. To make things even more suspicious, she is heading to the exact same bakery as him. Sakai tries his best to ignore her existence, but Shio's stunning appearance nearly sends his heart into cardiac arrest. Before he can mentally recover, the bus hits a sudden bump, causing Shio to lose her balance and fall straight into his arms, smashing him with her plot cushions. As if that wasn't enough emotional damage, Shio wraps her arms around him, making Sakai forget how breathing works. Shio then begins rubbing his ear, claiming she is doing it to help relieve his motion sickness. Desperate to hide his very obvious reaction, Sakai suddenly slumps onto Shio's shoulder and mutters that he just wants to rest. Despite his frantic attempts to stay calm, his heart refuses to cooperate, pounding like it is trying to escape his chest. He quickly pulls away, only to notice that Shio looks even more shaken than he is. Embarrassed, Shio turns away, while Sakai silently presses the stop button. After alighting from the bus, Shio starts to panic, wondering if Sakai has finally seen through her true feelings. However, instead of confronting her, Sakai hands her a drink, explaining that it is for her motion sickness. It turns out he completely misunderstood her trembling and stopped the bus early just for her sake. Although relieved that her secret remains safe, Shio can't help but feel a little disappointed by his legendary cluelessness. After taking a sip of the drink, she gently rests her head on Sakai's shoulder, quietly hoping that one day they will move past this painfully awkward stage. While Shio savors the sweet moment, Sakai trembles like a fish out of water and ends up spilling his drink all over himself. The next day, Sakai, Shio, and Akari are stuck in class, passing the time with a silly childhood word game since the heavy rain keeps them from going outside. Suddenly, Sakai accidentally brings up Shio's name during the game, only to panic and quickly replace it with something else, and that single slip is enough to spark Akari's jealousy. Determined to even the score, Akari does everything she can to bait Sakai into saying her name, but none of her attempts work. To make matters worse, Shio later ends up saying Sakai's name, then smoothly changes it to a similar word and brushes it off as a joke, which only fuels Akari's competitive spirit even more. Fully focused on making Sakai say her name, Akari loses track of herself and ends up being the one who blurts out Sakai's name instead. Realizing her mistake too late, she quickly tries to copy Shio's excuse and claim it was a joke. Unfortunately for her, Shio immediately points out that repeating the same word isn't allowed, so with no way to escape, Akari accepts defeat. Sakai then steps in to decide her punishment, but instead of feeling satisfied, Shio grows unexpectedly jealous and secretly wishes she had been the one to lose instead. On his way home, Sakai mistakenly stumbles upon Akari reducing her clothing budget, causing her to throw garbage at him like a madwoman. After chasing him away, Akari squats down like a wet puppy, wondering why she always ends up clumsy in front of Sakai. Sakai soon returns, offering to share his umbrella with her, and she proceeds to roast him first. But as soon as he turns to leave, she stops him, acting like she is doing him a favor. On their way home, an awkward tension settles between them, and meanwhile, Shio is also on her way home, wishing she had seen Sakai. Just before Sakai and Akari turn the corner, Shio rushes off excitedly to buy snacks. In the meantime, Sakai continues to think about his awkward relationship with Akari while ogling her. He reminisces about their past and wonders when she stopped being the sweet little girl he remembers. His thoughts are interrupted when Akari starts complaining about petty things and slaps his face, telling him to stop staring at her like an idiot. Even though she tries to maintain the chill girl persona, deep down, Akari is trembling like a fish out of water. She soon notices the rain dripping on his shoulder and pulls him closer while roasting him as usual. She even offers him a handkerchief, but Sakai misunderstands and uses it to wipe her instead, earning him another round of scolding. After scolding him, She tries to take the umbrella, but they suddenly freeze when their hands brush against each other. After an eternity, they both scream out in shock, putting a little distance between themselves, but Sakai can't help but wonder why Akari is suddenly acting weird. To make things worse, she even holds the umbrella to match his height, an act that shocks Sakai because he doesn't remember her being so nice to him. Suddenly, the universe decides to play Cupid when a car zooms past, splashing water on them. Sakai reacts quickly, using his body to shield Akari, but instead of a thank you, he gets roasted and blamed for ogling at her non-existent clothing budget. She even gives him an insane slap, reinforcing his belief that one can never be in a rom-com with their childhood friends. Meanwhile, back home, Shio prepares to devour her snack buffet, but she wants to do it with Sakai. After staring out her window to look for him, she settles for sharing the snacks with Akari instead and sneaks into her room through the window as usual. Akari is so busy spiraling from the events earlier in the day with Sakai that she doesn't even notice a rat sneaking into her room. While staring at a picture of Sakai, she engages in a conversation with her dumb teddy, telling it about their clumsy umbrella experience. She screams in shock when she turns around to see Shio staring at her like an idiot. After the shocking ordeal, Akari scolds Shio for climbing in through the window instead of using the door. Shio quickly apologizes and offers her the snacks, trying to act like she didn't just uncover a massive secret, but she can't shake the worry from what she just witnessed. Akari hurriedly explains herself, insisting there was no special reason for staring at Sakai's picture. To prove her point, she immediately starts roasting him without mercy. However, despite her attempt to act chill, Shio notices the suspicious look on Akari's face and questions her about her true feelings for Sakai. Akari firmly denies it, but Shio remains unconvinced and continues to poke holes in her flimsy excuses. Akari, however, stays adamant to the end, repeatedly assuring her that she doesn't like Sakai. She even declares that she hates him and explodes in anger when Shio tries to smooth things over by calling Sakai a nice guy. Seeing that Shio has no plans of dropping the conversation, Akari decides to change the topic by showing her a funny video, but her search history about childhood crushes gives her away. In an attempt to turn off the phone, she mistakenly hits Shio on the head with it out of panic, and when she tries to make up for it by searching for a cold compress, a pile of Sakai's pictures suddenly pours out from the wardrobe, making things worse. Akari panics and starts conjuring up terrible excuses, but somehow, Shio manages to shoot every single one of them down. While looking at her ramble endlessly like a chattering box, Shio finally realizes that her worst fear has come true, and Akari is truly a rival. She tries her best not to ask any questions, but remembering they made a pact never to keep secrets from each other, Shio decides to ask Akari if she truly likes Sakai. An eerie tension soon settles between them, and after a long, awkward silence, Akari angrily expresses how annoying and frustrating she feels towards Sakai. She explains that she hates how he refuses to treat her like a girl despite how much effort she puts into attracting his attention. After pouring out her heart, she falls silent, and Shio picks up from where she stopped, having experienced the same attitude from Sakai. She complains about receiving an ugly plush toy from him for her birthday, and like comrades in arms, the two of them begin to voice their dissatisfaction about Sakai. Unbeknownst to them, Sakai is right outside the door listening to their conversation, and he immediately turns to leave, realizing how much they dislike him. Suddenly, he rushes back to the door after hearing a scream from the girls, but to his shock, their clothes had gone on a temporary retreat. Akari, as usual, is the first to react, and she beats him to a pulp while Shio watches in horror and finally concludes that Akari must truly hate Sakai. Due to the terrible beating, Sakai is now convinced that no one can ever be in a stupid rom-com with their friends. The next day, Shio is busy reading a popular, overly dramatic manga about falling in love with a friend, while Sakai sleeps behind her like a log. After finishing it, she finds herself wishing she could fall in love with her own friend the same way. Before leaving, she quietly decides to start a rom-com with Sakai, no matter the cost. The following day, Sakai heads to school while thinking about how Shio and Akari had discovered his secret hobby. He was out dressed like a creepy otaku, grinning to himself while enjoying his secret hobby, rom-com manga, when they ran into him, wondering why he was acting suspiciously. They immediately start searching him, and instead of thinking of an escape, Sakai can't help but notice how the whole situation feels straight out of his favorite manga. After searching him for a while, the book falls out, and to his shock, Shio reveals that she has seen a couple of them hidden in his room. The two girls immediately proceed to roast him, especially Akari. As Sakai is still trying to figure out how to survive the day, Shio sneaks up behind and starts teasing him. She suggests they walk to school, but Sakai shuts it down, leaving her hanging. From that point on, he avoids her like expired milk, and by the end of the day, Shio looks completely crushed. Akari notices her gloomy mood and asks what is wrong. After hearing the story, she tells Shio to be bolder. Fueled by the advice, Shio decides to recreate a dramatic scene straight from her favorite series. Knowing Sakai usually cleans the gym after school, she hides in the equipment room, waiting for a classic reenactment, but Sakai had been told to clean the classroom instead. After what feels like an eternity, Shio falls asleep, but when she wakes up at night and tries to leave, the door is locked. To make things worse, her phone dies at the worst possible moment. After yelling for help and getting nothing but silence, she gives up and starts thinking about Sakai. Just then, the door swings open and Sakai rushes in, out of breath like he ran a marathon. When she asks how he found her, he simply says he knew, because they have been friends forever. Her heart skips, and memories of him always staying by her side come rushing back. While Sakai texts everyone that he has found her, Shio complains about how he treated her coldly. He quickly makes up a flimsy excuse, but the truth is that he felt embarrassed because they discovered his secret hobby. Shio laughs it off, and when she tries to jump on him as usual, they both tumble to the floor. Sakai tries to avoid the situation, but she grabs him to carry out her reenactment mission. Unfortunately, he sees right through it and quickly pinches her face jokingly before getting back up. While she dusts herself off, Sakai scolds himself mentally for missing such an opportunity. He believes that they can never get past the awkward friends tag between them. Shio soon snaps him out of his thoughts, and he decides to sit with her a little longer. He had noticed the disturbed look on her face and wanted them to talk a little. Shio denies it and lets him know that she only wants to be with him a little longer. Before he can react, the whole scene suddenly turns soapy, making him wonder if this is the legendary start to his long-awaited rom-com. To make matters worse, Shio starts acting shy, and he tells her to go back to her usual silliness. She ignores him and leans in further, resting on his shoulder, even commenting on how nice he smells. This whole thing almost gives Sakai a heart attack, making him believe that she might like him. Shio then declares what sounds like a confession before embracing him, but their sweet moment is ruined when Akari barges in and turns on the light. She embraces Shio, expressing how worried she had been, and then starts scolding Sakai for not texting her updates. Sakai defends himself, and Akari checks her phone only to realize that he had texted her earlier. Still, she demands to know what they have been doing alone for a whole 20 minutes. Shio quickly comes up with a flimsy excuse and rushes off to use the restroom. After she leaves, Akari bluntly asks Sakai if he likes Shio, and he explains that he likes her as a family member. Despite her insistence, he firmly denies any romantic involvement with Shio. That night, he turns around in bed, replaying the events with Shio in his head like a broken radio. The next day, he tries to avoid her, but can't help but admire her beauty in her summer uniform. When she catches him peeking, he jumps out and quickly fumbles an awkward greeting. On their way to school, Sakai continues to reel from Shio's beautiful appearance. To calm himself down, he starts talking about their gym moment, but Shio rushes off, leaving him spiraling. He finds himself deep in another silly imagination until Akari suddenly snaps him back to reality. She scolds him for having creepy thoughts about Shio, and he tries to calm her down, which makes her angrier. The whole thing makes him wonder if she is acting this way because she has feelings for him. The thought of it sends him into another insane manga harem fantasy. Back at school, Shio is having an equally miserable day after avoiding Sakai. Akari notices her and feels frustrated when she realizes Sakai is the reason. Despite that, she further asks if something happened between them in the gym. Meanwhile, Sakai is in the bathroom hyping himself up like the main character. The moment he hears his name, he sprints over to eavesdrop. Unfortunately, he catches Shio declaring that she could never end up in a rom-com with him. With his pride shattered, Sakai retreats immediately to preserve what little dignity he has left. Shio chases after him, but he pretends everything is fine, while struggling to smile. He quickly bolts off in tears, realizing his morning happiness was completely imaginary. Shio feels awful too, knowing things were finally starting to change between them. Akari, meanwhile, enjoys the chaos like a true green tea schemer. That night, Akari is still annoyed over the whole Sakai and Shio mess. She steps out of the bath, only for Sakai to suddenly walk in, earning him a punch. Turns out his family came over with Shio's family for a drinking party. Moments later, Akari steps out, and Sakai follows to check on her. He apologizes for earlier, but she responds with her usual cold tone. Just as he is about to leave, she stops him and asks if he still remembers the promise they made. Sakai dodges the question by teasing her, reminding her how she used to drag them to the bathroom because she was scared of the dark. After scolding him for mocking her, Akari thinks back on how he swore never to leave her. She assumes he has forgotten, only for Sakai to confirm he remembers. She then bluntly asks when he plans to marry her so they can stay together forever, and before Sakai's brain can catch up, she laughs it off as a joke. Right on cue, Shio stumbles in drunk, followed by her mom, who explains that she got tipsy purely off vibes without touching a drop. In her drunken state, she teases Sakai about his red face, leaving him completely flustered, until Akari taps him from behind, and they start bickering like always. The following day, Sakai is enjoying a peaceful day in the park when something reminds him of Shio and Akari. Just like that, his peaceful day comes to an end as thoughts about being in a rom-com with them almost drive him crazy. Suddenly, a beautiful girl starts staring at him like a prime piece of Wagyu beef. She even follows him around like a moth to a flame and grabs his face as if searching for his lifespan. Sakai feels she looks familiar, and the girl lights up like Christmas when she recognizes him. After a while, Sakai finally realizes that she is his third childhood friend, Rinako. Rinako is a year younger than him, and she moved away 5 years ago. Sakai learns from his mom that Rinako is planning to attend his school, and she will be staying with them. Sakai is disturbed by this and wonders if it is going to lead to one of those roommate-to-lover situations. Rinako is a very blunt girl, and while unpacking with Sakai, she expresses how excited she is to spend time with him. Sakai struggles to maintain his big brother persona, despite things getting a bit steamy when she trips while lifting a heavy box. After unpacking, Rinako suddenly tells Sakai that she likes him, and Sakai pats her head like a puppy, thanking her. Rinako tries to explain that she means it romantically, but Shio and Akari burst into the room to warmly greet her. Rinako excitedly studies Shio and Akari, noticing their enormous assets. Meanwhile, Sakai takes a cold bath to calm his raging hormones, but thoughts of Rinako plague his mind. Rinako compliments Shio and Akari for growing into beautiful women, and she also tells them that she likes Sakai. They simply laugh it off, thinking she meant it in a brotherly way, but to their shock, she explains that she wants to roll in the sheets with him. Rinako then rushes out to shower, leaving Shio and Akari to digest her words later. She heads to Sakai's room, only to find Shio and Akari waiting for her. Her sudden confession and forwardness made them suspect she might make a move on Sakai, so they took precautions ahead of time to prevent her from being alone with Sakai. Despite their presence, Rinako plops on Sakai's lap, asking him to help dry her hair. She even declares that she wants his attention, causing Sakai to forget how to breathe. Shio and Akari immediately pull Rinako away, claiming that Sakai will ruin her hair. After they finish fixing her hair, the two girls literally pin her to the chair to prevent her from approaching Sakai again. Watching the girls chatter, Sakai is relieved that Shio and Akari are there to keep the energy ball, Rinako, occupied. Just as he tries to relax, Rinako starts playing footsies with him under the table, so Sakai grabs her leg, making her laugh. Her laughter catches Shio and Akari's attention, so they look under the table to see Sakai acting lecherously. Akari scolds him despite his attempt to explain the situation. Shio knows that Renako started it and is even impressed by her tactic. She feels jealous because Renako is different from her, who is such a wimpy loser. Before anyone can say jack, Renako moves closer to Sakai, asking him to tutor her privately. Sakai is speechless and even forgets how breathing works as his eyes drop to her plot cushions. Shio and Akari quickly jump in, offering to tutor Renako instead. Renako completely ignores them and sits in front of Sakai, leaving them in shock. To make matters worse, she suddenly tells him that she loves him, but dumb Sakai thanks her, treating her like a sister. Refusing to back down, Renako leans closer, falling straight into Sakai's arms. Sakai's mind is already writing a rom-com scenario, but Renako only fell asleep. Shio and Akari are relieved because they thought she was trying to kiss him. Later, while watching her sleep, Shio and Akari are surprised when she mutters Sakai's name in her sleep. Shio fears that Renako and Sakai might start dating soon, while Akari tries to convince herself that Renako's confession was strictly agape love. Meanwhile, Sakai is spiraling as he wonders if this might be a sure chance to be in a rom-com with his childhood friend. The following day, Renako sweetly wakes Sakai and even prepares a delicious breakfast for him. She explains that she is practicing to be a good wife, and Sakai praises her for it, making her so ecstatic and jiggly. Later, Sakai mentally prepares himself to be a good big brother to Renako, but she suddenly hugs him from behind, asking to go on a date. Though taken aback, Sakai manages to keep calm while treating her like a sister. Later, they head to the park, where Renako draws attention for her absolute cuteness. Sakai tries his best to play the big brother role, but Renako keeps saying wild things that literally turn his nerves into jelly. A few moments later, Renako rushes over to help an injured boy until his mother arrives to pick him up. After they leave, Sakai praises Renako for taking charge of the situation. Renako explains that she learned to do it because everyone else looked out for her when she was still a clumsy girl. Sakai is surprised when he learns that she wants to be a doctor someday. Renako tells him not to doubt her, explaining that she has been studying hard towards her goal. Listening to her talk like a grown-up makes Sakai realize that she is no longer that clumsy girl, and he feels a little bad for treating her like one. He then recalls her confession, making him wonder if she actually meant she likes him in a romantic way. Just then, Shio and Akari arrive uninvited, and Akari scolds Sakai, warning him not to have any creepy thoughts about Renako. They soon abandon the poor guy to play by themselves while he pathetically watches them from afar. Sakai catches himself desiring Renako, and she calls his name, sapping him back to reality. A few days after Renako's public confession, Akari secretly follows Sakai to a store, wondering if he has any feelings for Renako. When Sakai spots her hiding, Akari pretends to be buying bread. Sakai tries his best to stop her because that particular bread is famous for being extremely spicy, but she refuses to listen and proceeds to pay for it. Rather than accept that she is following him, Akari would rather get run over by Truck-kun. Sakai tries to convince her not to eat the bread, but she still takes a bite, and despite the severe spiciness, she persists in finishing it all. After eating the bread, Akari realizes that she has been holding Sakai's hand the entire time and starts blushing. She wants to confess her feelings so badly, but can't muster up the courage, so she settles for acting cool. However, she suddenly faints, making Sakai panic like a mother hen. After exams, Akari and Shio are excited for summer break, but Sakai, filled with thoughts about his growing feelings for them, refuses to share in their enthusiasm. Things worsen when he sees that Renako scored perfect marks in all her exams, making him feel like he is lagging behind. He decides to put away all his romantic thoughts and focus on studying. A few days later, Sakai is still cooped up in his room studying while his friends worry about him. Akari tells them not to worry and just prepare for the summer holiday without Sakai. She quickly swallows her words when Renako bluntly asks if she will miss Sakai. Later, the girls decide to cheer Sakai up, but it doesn't work, so they bug him to join them in making summer plans. Akari then teases Sakai about his alleged bad grades, making him snap at her. The situation between them escalates until Shio steps in to mediate, and she then whispers a new plan to the girls. They resort to using reverse psychology, But when Sakai recalls how pathetic he felt compared to Shio and Akari, he is even more determined to study more. A few moments later, the girls appear in their stunning swimsuits, destroying Sakai's earlier resolve, and he finally agrees to make summer plans with them. As they look up summer beaches, Sakai shows the girls his result, and to their surprise, it is even better than theirs. Due to Shio and Akari's reaction, Sakai asks them about their result, and is shocked to learn that Shio even failed one subject. Feeling less pathetic, Sakai smugly lets them know that they must join him in studying during the holiday. Later that day, Sakai relaxes in the bath while he anticipates spending the holidays with Shio, Akari, and Rinako. Just then, he overhears the girls preparing to use the bathroom, so he hides inside the covered tub. Apparently, the girls decided to have a sleepover with Rinako instead of returning home as Sakai had expected. While Sakai fights for his dear life, the girls discuss their various natural assets. Sakai almost loses control when his eyes travel beyond the unknown. Shio and Akari burst into laughter when Rinako suddenly wishes that Sakai were a girl. While they are laughing, the tub slightly rolls away, causing Sakai to panic. He quickly rolls it back up, but Rinako decides to enter the tub since the bathroom space is a bit crowded. Luckily, Sakai squeezes himself into the lower edge of the tub, preventing anyone from seeing him. All his efforts almost go to waste when Shio decides to also enter the tub, but Rinako saves the day by asking Akari and Shio a question. She wonders if Sakai might have feelings for them since they spend so much time together. Shio and Akari immediately deny it, assuring Rinako that Sakai is simply their childhood friend. Akari further adds that she doesn't even want him to have any romantic flings for her. To their surprise, Rinako bluntly admits that it will certainly make her happy if Sakai were to develop feelings for her. After thinking about it, Shio admits that it will also make her happy, but Akari is still so headstrong and snaps, refusing to admit it. Akari and the girls then leave, and Sakai immediately emerges from beneath the covers. While Sakai is still thinking about what the girls discussed, Rinako suddenly returns to grab something. Sakai panics and tries to explain, but he soon realizes that she already knew he was hiding the tub. To make matters worse, Rinako even teases him about a strategic mole on his body before. She then tells him to take responsibility for her, leaving him standing there like a scarecrow. Sakai wonders if this summer break will finally help him achieve his rom-com fantasies. At the start of summer break, Shio and Sakai head to the library to study. On the way, Sakai mentions that Akari and Rinako already have other plans, leaving the two of them to study alone. Once they settle in, Shio dives straight into studying, while Sakai finds it nearly impossible to concentrate. They had planned to study for a few days before heading to the beach, and he was confident he could manage, but sitting so close to Shio is far more distracting than he expected. He keeps stealing glances, and every time his eyes end up landing on her plot cushions. By the end of the day, Sakai is mentally drained and ready to clock out, while Shio is still bubbling with energy. She eagerly shows Sakai her work while brushing her orange farm against his arms, making him extremely uncomfortable. Seeing how comfortable she is around him, Sakai believes that Shio still sees him as a pathetic loser. He wonders how she will react if she finds out about his feelings for her. Sakai quickly snaps himself back to reality and points out a few mistakes in Shio's workbook instead. Since she hasn't made any progress yet, he teases her about canceling their beach plans, but Shio quickly protests. She then acts shy and indirectly hints that she wants to spend some alone time with him, but Sakai is too dumb to understand. He calmly lets her know that they will always do the same thing every year, no matter how old they get. Unsatisfied with his answer, Shio asks Sakai if things will change between them if he finds a girlfriend. Although taken aback by her question, Sakai confidently states that nothing will change between them. He further adds that childhood friends will always be just friends until the end. Sakai is shocked when Shio suddenly asks how he would feel if she asked him out. Once again, he starts wondering if this is the start of one of those classic childhood rom-com tropes. The following day, Sakai and the girls visit the beach, but Sakai refuses to get involved with them. This was supposed to be a classic setup for falling in love with childhood friends, but Sakai fears he might explode if he sees the girls in their cute swimsuits. Refusing to let him give them the cold shoulder, Shio and Rinako pester Sakai to join them while Akari quietly watches them. jealous that she can't be as free as they are with Sakai. Meanwhile, the constant asset jiggling makes Sakai lose his mind, causing him to bark at them to stop. To make things worse, Shio asks him to help her put on sunscreen while Rinako straight up forgets how boundaries work as she rubs his back with sunscreen. While Shio and Rinako continue to be proactive, Akari hovers around them like a glitching background character. Sakai tries to calm himself down while recalling the first time his feelings about his friends started to change. After the change, he started steeling his mind to withstand any temptations from them, but now all of that mental practice pales in comparison to the pressure he is feeling at the moment. Akari finally musters the courage to ask Sakai to play volleyball with her, but his stern face makes her snap as she angrily scolds him. After venting her frustration, she mistakenly pushes Sakai into the sea, where his resolve to avoid them breaks because of their extreme cuteness. The girls hurriedly pull him back out of the water, only for him to have a nosebleed after staring at them for too long. For the rest of the day, the girls literally torment Sakai with their assets, draining him of all his mental energy. On their way home, Akari and Sakai miss the bus while arguing, while Shio and Rinako fall asleep inside the bus, unaware of their absence. The whole situation only makes Akari even pricklier than usual, which convinces Sakai that she doesn't like him at all. They then decide to walk to the nearest town, and Akari can't help but think about hanging out with Sakai alone. She wants to use this opportunity to make progress with him like Shio and Rinako, but unfortunately, she has the courage of an ostrich. She suddenly jumps into Sakai's hand when a cat startles her, only to jump off later, claiming Sakai is trying to cling to her. By nightfall, they continue to bicker like cat and mouse while trying to compete for who has more courage than the other. Even though Akari puts up a courageous front, she is still terrified deep down, so she tries to hold Sakai's hand, but her courage fails her. A sudden sneeze from Sakai scares her to the point of falling, and Sakai offers to help her up, but Akari refuses. She tries to get up on her own, but her feet give out like jelly until Sakai supports her from the back. Ignoring her protests, he carries her on his back, remarking that she used to be nicer, but it only makes Akari pissed. She reminds him that he was the one who suddenly started acting stern with her. Sakai admits that he was only tense with her because he was focused on protecting her. Shortly after, they arrive at a nearby town, and Sakai calls his worried family to give them an update. After the call, he informs Akari that their moms booked rooms for them in a nearby hotel. The rest of the walk to the hotel, Akari stays dead silent, making Sakai uncomfortable, and to make things worse, their mothers only booked one room for both of them. Sakai wants to get another room, but Akari suddenly grabs him, saying she wants to stay with him. He laughs it off, thinking she only wants to share a room with him because she is scared of ghosts, but Akari simply thanks him for helping her. She then explains that it reminds her of how he used to take care of her, leaving Sakai even more confused. While taking a bath later, Sakai continues to agonize over the sudden change in Akari's behavior. Usually, she would have roasted him over 100 times already, but her sudden soft attitude offsets the balance for him. He even fears she might be planning something sinister against him. After his bath, he steps out to see Akari patiently waiting for him, which only confirms his suspicions. During dinner, Sakai tries to read her, but he is unable to, making him feel like he is dancing on the dangerous minefield of Akari's emotions. While trying his best to stay sane, Sakai pours hot tea on his hand, but he forgets the pain of it when Akari rushes over, acting all sweet. She gently tells him to cool it off in the restroom and even offers to clean up the mess left behind. The whole scenario only leaves Sakai even more confused than before because Akari has never been one to be so cooperative with him. After dinner, they prepare to sleep, but Sakai, refusing to risk his life with the whole Akari situation, moves his mattress away from hers. Deep down, he fights a losing mental battle to stop himself from having one of his stupid rom-com fantasies about Akari. A few moments later, Akari switches off the light, and to his horror, she snuggles next to him, asking him not to be mean. She then tells him to stop being cold to her and return things to how they used to be before drifting apart. Akari is taken aback when Sakai suddenly embraces her, promising to comply with her request. Caught up in the romantic moment, Akari recalls how close they used to be, and she suddenly tells Sakai that she loves him. After she drifts off to sleep, Sakai tries to figure out if he heard her right or her confession was just one of his useless imaginations. The following day, Sakai continues to replay Akari's confession, but his brain refuses to accept it because of her sudden coldness after their night at the hotel. Rinako's arrival soon snaps him back to reality as she bugs him to spend more time with her, but Sakai refuses. Before leaving, she mentions something about understanding a girl's heart which instantly piques his interest, so he asks her to tell him more. Meanwhile, Akari refuses to come to terms with her confession and she waits outside Sakai's window with a baseball bat, planning to forcefully erase his memory. She peeks inside his room only to overhear him asking Rinako for advice about what happened between them at the hotel. Though Sakai says it is about a friend, Akari fears that Rinako might actually uncover that it is about her. After hearing his story, Rinako tells him that the girl in question must hate the boy she spent the night with, dashing Sakai's hope of being in a rom-com with Akari. However, Akari is unhappy with Rinako's answer because it doesn't convey her true feelings. Sakai accepts Rinako's take on the issue, but when he mentions that the girl in question has always glared at his friend as if she hates him, Rinako changes her conclusion. She excitedly explains that the girl must truly be a tsundere in love, because some girls usually treat the boy they like trash. Rinako then tells him to advise his friend that pursuing such a girl strongly will definitely make her fall for him in seconds. This analysis shocks both Sakai and Akari, and instead of stopping there, Rinako also mentions that Sakai's friend might already be into the girl. After a little hesitation, Sakai agrees with her, leaving Akari so flustered, she almost falls off the roof, drawing Sakai's and Rinako's attention. Sakai asks why she is on his roof, but she immediately glares at him, brushing him off in her usual rude manner. Just as she is about to launch her pants into witness protection, Akari falls off the roof, but Sakai swoops in to save her like a knockoff Ultraman, but instead of thanking him, she chooses violence and struts off, calling him a loser. While watching her walk away, Rinako finally realizes that the story from earlier is actually about Sakai and Akari. When Sakai tries to continue their conversation, she angrily walks away, leaving him more confused than he was earlier. Next, Akari is in the mall listening to some junk about destined lovers kissing under the yearly fireworks show. She tries to ignore the rage bait commercial, but her inner demons push her to try on one of the products promised to make her romantic endeavors successful. However, before she can make a move, Shio and Rinako's arrival snaps her back to reality. Even though she tries to distract them from the commercial, Rinako still sees it, and being a straight shooter, she immediately expresses her intentions of trying it out with Sakai, leaving Akari and Shio flustered. While shopping for a yukata later, Akari stares at Shio, realizing that she might also have feelings for Sakai. She soon notices a pair of hairpins in the store, but before she can get them, Shio beats her to it. Sensing she might have overstepped, Shio quickly offers one to Akari, suggesting they wear matching ones, so Akari immediately agrees. But deep down, she feels uneasy because she and Shio always end up having to compromise and share things equally. A few moments later, Shio and Akari are left alone, and Shio informs Akari that she plans to see the fireworks with Sakai alone instead of going as a group like they do every year. She also adds that she actually believes in the legend about the kiss, so she plans to try it out with Sakai. Though taken aback by the revelation, Akari pretends that she is cool with it and tells Shio to go ahead. However, Shio doesn't buy her pretense, so after a little more persuasion, Akari finally admits that she has feelings for Sakai and would also like to watch the fireworks with him. After laying their hearts bare, the two girls finally feel relieved and shake hands, agreeing to compete fairly for Sakai's affection. That night, Akari and Shio anxiously head out to enjoy the festival, accompanied by Sakai. Shio is even more anxious as she sneaks glances at Sakai, wondering how to muster the courage to ask him out. Apparently, she had tried earlier in the day, but chickened out after mumbling a bunch of half-baked words to him. While thinking about it, Sakai suddenly grabs her hand, leaving her flustered in the middle of the street. After recovering her composure, she tries to ask him again, but Sakai, ever the clueless loser, suddenly kills the vibe, leaving the girls feeling embarrassed. Akari then tries her luck, but like some possessed wench, she suddenly barks at him angrily, causing friction between them, after which Shio hugs her, and they lick their wounds as fellow losers. The two girls then discuss their difficulties and resolve to talk to Sakai before it is time for the fireworks, but when it is time to carry out the plan, both of them refuse to go first. While struggling to figure out who goes before the other, Sakai interrupts them, asking what they are doing, before suddenly turning hyper and urging them to enjoy the festival. This sudden sugar rush attitude makes the girls suspicious and unable to figure out what is wrong with him. Unbeknownst to them, Sakai is having a mental crisis because of their strange attitudes since they arrived at the festival. He stuffs himself full of food just to avoid facing reality, making the girls laugh. However, their excitement instantly vanishes when they hear that the fireworks show is about to start. Shio quickly rushes over to ask Sakai to watch the show with her, but he misunderstands her incoherent speech as a sign of hunger and quickly offers her food. Akari also tries to talk to him, but Sakai walks away, thinking they want to enjoy the festival without him, but they both suddenly grab his hand, stopping him midway. At the same time, Shio and Akari ask him to watch the fireworks with them, leaving Sakai flustered. After the girls leave, Sakai starts spiraling, his mind drifting back to past years when he could watch the fireworks carefreely with his childhood friends, without any pressure. But now, they were practically forcing him to pick one instead of allowing him taste the two soups. He suspects this is just another one of their usual pranks, so he tries to brush it off, but his brain spirals as if on steroids. Suddenly, he hears Akari let out a piercing shriek, and Sakai rushes to the corner where she's waiting. Akari spirals as she wonders how to face Sakai without making a fool of herself. To prepare for his arrival and take advantage of the legend about kissing under the fireworks show, she even practices with a mask while Sakai quietly watches the whole cringy moment. Akari jumps when she hears a branch snap and turns around, only to find Sakai staring at her. Mortified, she lets out a piercing scream that could shatter glass and, in a fit of panic and shame, starts hurling stones at him for catching her in such a compromising situation. Sakai manages to calm her down and asks what she is doing, but Akari is unable to answer. He notices the mask, and it immediately clicks that she was really practicing kissing. Just as he begins to process this, he overhears a group of girls nearby talking about the legend of kissing under the fireworks, and he finally understands why Akari and Shio wanted to see the fireworks show individually with him. Before Sakai can even question Akari, she bolts off, leaving him no choice but to chase after her, hoping that his very own rom-com moment is about to begin. Unfortunately, the universe literally laughs at his dreams, causing him to be mistaken for a creep and almost beaten to a pulp, convincing Sakai that rom-coms don't really exist in the life of a loser. Akari tries to explain the misunderstanding, but no one pays her any attention until she practically screams like a banshee, forcing the crowd to stop. Afterwards, they apologize, clearly disappointed for getting dragged into their couple drama. Finally, Akari musters her last bit of courage and tells Sakai that he needs to choose between her and Shio, hinting that if he picks her, she plans to confess her feelings to him. Before Sakai can respond, Shio calls him, saying she can't meet up and tells him to enjoy the fireworks with Akari. It turned out that after parting ways with Sakai and Akari, Shio anxiously waited for the time for the fireworks to approach, but it felt like an eternity, almost driving her mad. To distract herself and pass the time, she decided to help a few strangers along the way. She even helped a pregnant woman get to the hospital, and by the time she was done, it was almost time for the fireworks. Refusing to give up, Shio tried to rush back to the festival but tripped, breaking her slipper, so she reluctantly decided to call Sakai to cancel. However, she didn't want to tell him about her predicament, knowing how much he would worry about her just as he did when they were young. Shio couldn't help feeling a twinge of jealousy at the thought that Akari might get to kiss Sakai under the fireworks, according to the legend, while she was stuck nursing a broken slipper. Moments later, the husband of the woman she helped to the hospital arrives and thanks her for assisting his wife. He asks if she has plans with someone, and Shio can't help but think about the plans she made with Akari and Sakai. She tries hard to pretend everything is fine, but unable to hold it in any longer, Shio runs barefoot, attempting to confess her love to Sakai before the fireworks end. However, the last firework goes off before she can get there, and Shio collapses on the street, crying until she hears Sakai's voice. Akari also arrives at the scene, hugging Shio, and together with Sakai, they scold Shio for always holding things in instead of asking for help. Shio apologizes for ruining the fireworks show for them, but they drag her off to have a mini show of their own. While enjoying the fireworks, Shio asks how they found her, and Akari explains that after they received their call, Sakai, who has zero bearing, immediately tried to search for her. Akari also joined him, and they searched for her aimlessly until an old woman stopped them because she recognized the identical hairpin belonging to Akari and Shio. She then told them how Shio helped her and directed them to the hospital. Sakai and Akari praise Shio for dropping everything to help a stranger, but she still feels terrible for missing the show, so Sakai assures her that they can watch the fireworks properly next year. After consoling Shio, the group decides to set off a big firework, but the scale of it is underwhelming, leaving them a little disappointed. However, Shio beams with satisfaction and thanks them for making her summer memorable. Moments later, she apologizes to Akari for ruining her chances to confess to Sakai, but Akari bluntly tells her to stop being overly considerate and putting herself on edge just for the sake of other people's feelings. With a newfound determination, Akari declares that she plans to fight fairly for Sakai's affection, and Shio agrees. After their heartfelt conversation, the girls spot Sakai dozing peacefully nearby. Seizing the opportunity to mess with him, they lean in and peck him lightly on each cheek, giggling at their little prank. Sakai finally awakens, and suspecting they must have done something to him without his knowledge, playfully chases them around, hoping this could truly be the start of his very own personal harem. A few days later, Sakai goes on a date with Renako, but his mind keeps drifting to Shio and Akari. He had hoped the festival would kick off his rom-com adventures with them, yet the girls have been unusually quiet, leaving him frustrated. When Renako arrives, she asks about the festival, and Sakai admits that his chances at a love life seem impossible. She reassures him that things will pick up soon and confesses that spending every day with him feels like a rom-com. Sakai, however, refuses to believe her, which only deepens his frustration. Suddenly, a girl named Haru appears out of nowhere, and after acting familiar with him, she drives off, leaving Sakai confused. The following day, Sakai runs into Haru again, and while teasing him about his harem, she buries him in her melons until Akari intervenes. After embracing Shio and Akari, Haru drives off, leaving them confused about her identity. Later on, a bunch of dorks grill Sakai about his harem after the rumor spreads throughout school like wildfire. At the same time, the rumor reaches Akari's ears, and she threatens to raise hail and brimstone, almost scaring Sakai and the boys into a code brown. Later, when Sakai, Shio, and Akari meet up to discuss the rumors, Shio reveals that Haru is the one spreading the rumors. Sakai decides to confront her and goes to her class, but learns that she's in the clubroom. Upon entering the club room, his soul almost vacates his body when he sees Haru in nothing but confidence. A few minutes later, Haru asks him to enter, and Sakai trips, falling directly on top of her. Sakai quickly apologizes, but Haru starts laughing and tells him to stop acting like a stranger. However, his distant reaction makes her realize that he doesn't even recognize her, so she pulls his face closer. Meanwhile, Shio and Akari hang outside, worrying about Sakai, so they decide to check on him before he can riz yet another girl with his charm. And just as they fear, they soon see Sakai in a questionable position and quickly scold him for forgetting why he came there in the first place. Sakai tries to defend himself and reminds them that Haru is actually their childhood friend. However, Shio and Akari are shocked to hear this because the Haru in their memory is supposed to be a dude. Seeing their reaction, Haru finally realizes why they were cold to her at the beginning of high grade when she tried to greet them. Now that his best bud turns out to be a girl, Sakai tries to distance himself from her, but Haru refuses to let him have peace and enjoys the process of tormenting him. However, Shio and Akari refuse to let her steal their man, so they try to keep her away from Sakai. Afterwards, they ask her about the rumors, and Haru promises to fix things. When she asks if they are in a multiplayer situation, Sakai and the girls immediately deny it. But Haru finds that hard to believe because Sakai and the girls are always together. When Haru suddenly remarks that she is relieved that they're not dating, Sakai can't help but wonder what she means. Later, Haru invites Sakai to meet her in their old spot, and she asks him not to invite Shio and Akari. Later, as he waits for her at the old basketball court, Sakai begins to wonder if this is the start of his fantasy rom-com. But when Haru arrives and almost scares the life out of him, he decides to abandon such dreams. However, when Haru starts fiddling with her buttons, he hopes again, only for her to immediately challenge him to a basketball game, crushing his hope. Sakai accepts the challenge, but when the game begins, Haru easily gets the upper hand after distracting him with her large plots. After Haru taunts him for playing like an old geezer, Sakai tries to redeem his tiny ego, so she challenges him to another match. During the game, Sakai asks why she suddenly disappeared on them, and Haru apologizes, explaining that her life had suddenly gotten busy. As they reminisce, Haru seizes the chance to tease him, and while he's distracted, she scores a point, leaving him puzzled. The second time she tries it, Sakai imagines her as the boy from his past and tackles her without getting distracted by her tricks. Despite that, she wins the game, and he ends up falling on top of her again. After the game, Haru and Sakai argue over a penalty for the loser, and Haru demands that he answer her questions instead of their head flicks. She then reveals that she heard about what happened between him, Akari, and Shio at the fireworks festival and bluntly asks which of the girls he plans to choose. However, instead of responding, Sakai tries to brush it off, but Haru refuses to let him have his way. Like a pest, she presses him for an answer while teasing him to uncover whether he actually has feelings for the girls. But Sakai continues to deny it, so she reminds him about their childhood bond and tells him that he can trust her. Despite her persuasion, Sakai refuses to budge, so Haru challenges him to another game, demanding that he tell her the truth if she wins. But instead of a basketball match, Sakai decides to play a silly childhood game, and Haru agrees after briefly considering her chances of winning. However, during the game, she continuously teases him about his harem until he gives up, so he has no choice but to reveal that he actually has feelings for his friends. Sakai says he doesn't know how Shio and Akari feel about him, so Haru takes it upon herself to sound them out for him, and she takes off before Sakai can stop her. Thanks for watching till the end, and comment Sakai is a simp to confuse those losers who didn't stay till the end.